like Galileo, drop the orange.
No, let's be very clear here. I don't have anything against the strength programs in college. There's some strength programs in college that are fantastic. I have to be careful saying this because I don't want to piss anybody off. But at the same time, when I was with the Canadian national team, we had to go and really re-educate the strength team for these schools that were housing some of our players. They were going to school for 4 years at a Div 1 school, and they kept coming back slower. And you got to imagine, like, if you're putting that kind of programming, that kind of investment of time into players, and they go off to school where you can imagine being a parent, you send your kid off to school and they come back worse. Like, that's what I was doing. I was sending my players to college and they were coming back worse. So we had to figure this out, and we had to figure it out pretty quick. And what we found was that the strength team was not 100% dedicated to the golf program. Instead, they were wanting to work with the women's basketball team or the men's baseball team, and they were maybe like an assistant on those teams, but then they had, hey, why don't you take the golf team while you're at it and play around with those guys? Well, they basically gave them the same programs that they were giving them for basketball and baseball. And to be fair, I wouldn't train basketball and baseball players the way that they're being trained. It was all bench, deadlift, squat, get better at those 3 lifts, and you've done your job. But that makes golfers slower. So don't get me wrong, you want to be able to squat and you want to be able to deadlift, you want to have power, but they were just doing it with, if they could do a certain weight, then add more weight. And if they could do that weight, just add more weight and keep going, add more weight for the sake of adding weight. But what they weren't doing was making them faster. And that's the thing that bugged me, because they'd come back to our camps and they're not faster. In fact, they're slower. Even just maintain the same speed, I'm okay. But they made them worse. And it's no fault to the strength teams. They just didn't know what they're doing. I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years. You think that I might be able to figure out an algorithm for making people faster? I would think so. But a young strength coach that's maybe second year at the school and just came out of college themselves, do you think they're going to be able to figure out this mathematical equation that acceleration, deceleration training, opposite side training, all this anti-rotation work? That's very advanced, high-level stuff. I don't expect them to know that. But the problem was that the schools were also under the same impression that if their bench, deadlift, and squat got better, then the athlete is better. But their scores were going down, their speed was going down, their distance was going down. So that's why I felt the need to educate and have like coaches forums where I could help strength coaches in college help their players. And then also offer a resource for players that are in the collegiate setting that don't want to do the generic program. Now, you can do the generic program, but you have to add neuromuscular training on top of it. So you can do your strength, you can do your strength training, but then on top of that, layer in the speed stuff. And if you do that, then you're going to have success. So to answer your question, I'm not anti strength coach, because I am a strength coach, but I just feel like with rotational athletes that are swinging an implement, that are trying to deliver speed, I just think that there's a better way than the traditional strength conditioning sagittal plane, just lift for the sake of lifting. I just feel there's a better option to it. So if that answers your question, great. I do get I get fired up about it, because I've spent the last 10 years of my life trying to educate people on how to do it differently, but it seems like the same mistakes are being made time and time again. And the collegiate setting seems to be the breeding ground for inadequate training. And again, no offense to the strength coaches there. I just feel like if you really want to focus on golf as a specific sport, I think we need to increase the level of education. We need to increase the ability to screen our athletes. We need to be able to prescribe exercises that actually affect the technical things that they're doing in their swing. It has to be correlated with what their needs are in their swing. If you do that, fantastic, I'm all for you. But if you're just adding the same program that you give every other athlete and you're just hoping it works for golf, I think you're wrong. And you're going to run into problems. You're either going to injure the athlete or they're going to get slower. That's just the way I feel. The whole training philosophy that I have really